All right, good afternoon, team. So unfortunately, I've not heard back from anybody else on the steering committee about their availability right now. But I still want to be respectful of everyone's time. We do both have Jamie Little here who is the interim general manager for the IVCSD, and we also have Dan Kearns, who's one of the IVCSD board members. And so for Jamie and Dan, Jamie, I know you came to our meeting a month ago. I think it was our October 20th when we first received the grant. And unfortunately, we've been able to have it approved, modified, or denied since then. Um, but we did have you here once. The team has definitely had plenty of time to read over the grant, think about it, et cetera. And whereas it doesn't look like we'll be able to vote on it today due to the lack of the quorum that we have, if there were any other details that the team that is here, Marcia, Lida, Danny, Matt, and Greg, if anybody had some additional questions, comments, or concerns, just to kind of fill this out, and then I will make every effort between now and say Thanksgiving to get the steering committee together to vote on this one way or the other. So we just kind of move this stuff along a little bit. Um, so with that, Jamie or Dan or anybody want to comment on behalf of the CSD about anything around this particular grant and any changes in the last month?
Um, we haven't, no changes as far as our financial situation getting improving. We are trying to straighten out our books with the CPA, so that should be helpful in the future. I just want to say that this grant would be really helpful in um, repairing, I think, some of the trust with the community and the district and transparency and yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that it would help this district and the community a lot to be able to have the bandwidth here too.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and Jamie and I met last week, and we talked a little bit about some of the communication opportunities that they have kind of readily available right off the shelf. But just to highlight some of the things in the grant. So, as a reminder, some of the project objectives. Number one, the ability to create and send out monthly community newsletters, regular press releases, social media management, ongoing meeting transcriptions. So this is a big one, just to be able to have staff available, not only to take notes and minutes during the actual meeting, but then make sure that they're documented properly and then disseminated primarily for the board members, but then of course for the general public as well.
There's
Uh,
also, like we talked about, some past meetings that weren't transcribed, and that
yeah.
would be super helpful to be able to get done.
So there's a detail in here. Transcribe as many missing and archived meeting recordings as possible, including those from former clerks of the board dating back to 2020. So there's the potential that there's 5 years. And my sense from talking last week is that it wasn't like every single meeting
No,
since 2020, but there are some gaps.
here and there are some gaps. Yeah.
Right. So I think the budget that was included, there's a budget narrative and then the costs associated with each one of those items. Um, the most significant cost being the ongoing transcription, or I'm sorry, the backlog, the video backlog and the transcription of those items. That makes up about half of the overall ask here from IVCSD, a little bit more than half. And then the rest would be the ongoing transcription, 3,800 for the monthly newsletters, 1,200 for press releases, just over $2,000 for social media management, $800 for web distribution and support, and then an additional $280 for web design, software, and supplies.
We have Shelby now.
Oh, we do have Shelby. Ha ha.
Yay.
All right, time out on everything I just said. All right. All right, real quick, I'm going to take a roll call. Marsha Roby,
Here.
Matt Fogarty,
Here, here,
Greg Walsh, thank you.
I'm here.
Lida Scoggin,
Here.
Danny Steyer,
Here.
Shelby Leon.
Here.
Great. And with that, may I have a motion to approve today's agenda?
I move to approve today's agenda.
Lida, thank you.
I'll
Second,
second it. Shelby.
Shelby, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. All right. Next item is approval of the November 3rd, 2025 meeting minutes.
Marcia, I so approve.
I'll second it.
Marcia puts forth the motion. Lyda Scoggin, a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Are there any opposed? Hearing none. All right, fantastic. All right. Real quick, we'll take a half step back with our guests, Sherry Pryor and Kes Porter. Any public input today?
Not for me. Not from us, thank you.
Okay, moving on. Now, the Indian Valley Community Services District Communication Transparency Grant. Ta-da! All right. So obviously you heard what Jamie had just said. Give a little bit of recap of some of the finer points of what was written in the actual grant. So additional questions, comments?
Yeah, this is Dan. I just want to thank everybody for this opportunity to apply for this grant and for this work. I think it could be a really beneficial thing for our community to just, our institution suffers from the bandwidth right now to just keep people up to speed on the everyday, day-to-day operations and the things that are going good and things that are going bad. And I think that would be just a great thing for the community to have. I can't really remember a time when there was something like that. So it'd be neat to see this district be able to put that out. And yeah, thank you for your consideration. Oh, and also, this is a time I'm happy. My main purpose in being here was just to be available for any questions or comments and concerns anybody might have for IVCSD. If you want to throw those at me, I'm happy to do my best.
Now, and Dan, I know you're not at your desk, but I reviewed some funding today with Kim Dufour, our program manager at North Valley Community Foundation. And so available funds for us, we've been operating under the idea of roughly $38,000. That was Danny's last update. And then the North Valley Community Foundation, they have roughly $88,000 available. Again, so that excludes the money that we're both obligated that we have to the Greenville Rancheria, $600,000 from North Valley Community Foundation and $300,000 from us. So this is a situation as we continue to hear these grants and we're getting closer to a lack of funds. This is where if there's a motion for approval, it can be split between the Dixie Fire Collaborative Fund, the singular one, and then what North Valley Community Foundation has, right? So it kind of takes a little bit less a bite or less a chunk out of both funds simultaneously. So that's an option. And what would still have to have happened though, let's say the DFC steering committee today voted to approve this grant. A recommendation would be to move to approve up to $25,000, the entire ask of the grant, with the potential to share 50% with North Valley Community Foundation, because they will have to have their own secondary vote with their own executive committee. And generally speaking, the trend has been that when you all want to approve something and you think it's something that's necessary and vital in our community, the executive committee at North Valley Community Foundation has followed suit. Not necessarily with a rubber stamp. They do talk about it. They make sure that it all meets the legal guidelines, the grant eligibility guidelines, et cetera. But that is a consideration that they often think that if it's something that's locally supported, that's something that they'd like to follow suit with. I will say that Kim Dufour did bring up the caveat that sometimes they do scrutinize the financials of the asking organization, right? So we talked a little bit about that a month ago, and I think Jamie, you said something to the tune of roughly $3 million of cash flow that the IVCSD had at its disposal. I could be wrong on that.
It's a little over 3, closer to 4, but it is savings that is being drawn from every month. So
Right. And I explained that. I explained that the burn down rate is faster than the rate of revenue that you're able to earn right now in terms of service providing. And that also, um, yeah, but and that's a strong consideration. And that also that nobody has a crystal ball to know when or how you may be back up to the your 100% of service that you're able to provide, right?
Right.
So that's a consideration, to take into account. So I did communicate that.
I
But I just
appreciate
want,
that.
if I've got my devil's advocate hat on from them being North Valley, they're like, well, they got $3 million. Why can't they afford 25,000? So I just want to, be clear on that. But again, that's why if this motion is crafted to approve up to $25,000 from the DFC fund as opposed to the DFC and the North Valley Community Foundation fund, if the North Valley Community Foundation Executive Committee opts not to fund this, then the full value of the grant request would still get funded. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
But if you put that caveat to move up, to make a motion to approve up to $25,000 with the potential to share 50% with North Valley Community Foundation, then each organization would then contribute 12.5 to this particular grant. So I just want to make sure that that's clear up front. Any other thoughts, considerations from the steering committee? Anybody have? Okay. Would anybody like to make a motion to approve this grant request?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Oh, Greg. Greg Walsh. Okay.
I'll second.
I just want to get the verb. I want
Motion.
to make sure I'm clear on the verbiage for documentation. And Greg, that motion is it to approve up to
Up to
25,000
25. Yeah,
with
up to
the-
25,000.
with the potential of a 50% sharing with North Valley Community Foundation?
Yes.
Okay.
A second as stated.
Okay. Greg Walsh, motion. Second, Danny Steyer. Thank you. And we'll do a roll call vote. Greg Walsh,
I vote yes.
Danny Steyer,
Yes.
Marcia Roby,
Yes.
Lyda Scoggin,
Yes.
Shelby Leon,
Yes.
and Matt Fogarty.
Yes.
All right. So that motion of up to $25,000 to the Indian Valley Community Services District for the Community and Transparency Grant, with the potential of 50% funding from North Valley Community Foundation, is approved. All right. With 6 votes. All right. Well, congratulations, team. Thank you.
Thank you
and-
guys. We really appreciate the help.
Patrick, when would we find out if we're only paying 12,500 instead of the 25?
I think it'll be this week, Marcia. I think from this meeting, then I'll work on the minutes and I'll get them over to Kim at North Valley. And then I think they usually meet in the latter half of the week, like Thursdays and Fridays. So then with our meeting minutes, she would then take it to her committee. So at the end of this week, I think at the earliest, and then probably before Thanksgiving, they'd probably do a little bit of business next week, Monday, Tuesday, Friday, before Thanksgiving. So, no later than Thanksgiving, we would know, if that helps.
Great.
All right.
Well, thank you all very much. We look forward to showing you the results of this.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Dan.
Sounds good. Thank you
Thanks,
both
Jamie.
for attending.
Thanks, Jamie and Dan, for showing up.
Thank you guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, you too.
You too.
All right. Next item on the agenda is the Greenville Fire Cat grant request. This just came to us. So if you recall, I think I gave everybody a heads up that there would be something forthcoming. And the way that this is sort of taking shape is we have 2 grants they sound kind of similar. So when I first met with Kimberly and Mary Shiro, they were talking about kind of incorporating all their expenses, which was the trap, spay, and neuter, and then also a shelter when they do a sanctuary operation for the cats that have gone through the surgery, and then also just additional sort of like rescue cats. I think right now, what it sounds like, they use a patchwork of kennels, crates, and things of that nature. And the goal of this grant is to provide an overhead shelter, and they've settled on like a carport system, like the metal frame, metal roof carport systems, in order to provide that overall shelter to which they can then put the individual crates beneath. So that's one portion. We still have the $2,000 that the Friends of Plymouth Animals, they're the ones that are kind of spearheading the effort on the trap, spay, and neuter-a-thon that will be coming in March of 2026. So I think the last time y'all heard anything about that, which was at the last meeting, was to just kind of table that discussion till we knew more about our financing, or not finances, or financing our finances. So, and since there wasn't necessarily a sense of urgency because that event will take place in the spring and we'll probably know more. With this, I know, just talking with Kimberly, there's a little bit of a sense of urgency just based off of the weather, right? With weather coming in, that there's kind of at least an out of the wind and rain and snow and that type of thing area. And so that's why they're requesting $10,000, $8,000 for the actual like structure. And then there was, I think it was $1,500 for the site prep and other work around the actual structure itself. And then like $500 in land. Okay, no, correction. $8,000 for the carport. $1,200 was the high end of their site prep, which I don't think they're not anticipating spending all that. And then $800 for landscaping. So that's the $10,000 overall that they're asking for. So I don't know if anybody had a chance to read their grant request. They're looking at potentially 1 month of site prep, 6 weeks of construction. And it says 2 to 3 months depending on the weather for landscaping, but I think that was like a lesser priority.
So this sounds like it's basically they're looking for money to establish a no-kill shelter for existing cats, not an adoption program, not a spay and neuter program. They just want to keep these cats alive in a nice place. Is that correct?
That's my understanding, but I did, just in conversation, I mean, I thought that they were trying to find homes, like rehome the cats as they can. I don't know that they have like a full-on like system for it yet, but I think it's just more
Mhm.
word of mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. Sherry, you have your hand up.
Actually, I do.
Oh, yes.
So where is it going and when would the cats be there? This isn't just part of the neutering program.
Correct. My understanding that I think they have cats now, and I think it would be going at Kimberly Price's property on the corner of Wolf Creek Road, and I can't remember the cross street, but it's
Higby?
Higby. Yes,
Yeah.
that's my understanding.
Do they need a permit to build a cat shelter? I mean, a $10,000 cat shelter, that's quite a lot of cat shelter.
You technically speaking would need, you could pull a no cost carport permit from the county. Yeah. Lida, you have your hand up.
Yeah. Are these two groups? It's not the same group that's asking for the no kill and the spay neuter program.
Correct.
Are they communicating with one another?
Well,
They
of
have
course.
connection?
My understanding is yes. My understanding is that and that's why when I first spoke a couple of months ago to Kimberly and Mary, they were talking about presenting a grant that had everything from the trap, spay, and neuter program and this shelter they're looking to purchase all in one. And then in the follow-on months, it got broken out to kind of have them separate as two separate projects. And so that's why the Friends of Plymouth Animals and an organization based in Quincy called PAWS, PAWS. I can't remember. It's an acronym for something, but it's a
Yeah, we have one. Yeah.
sheltering program and rescue. So they're working on the trap, spay, and neuter stuff in the spring, in March of 2026. And then the Greenville Fire Cats, they are working on the shelter.
And is this viewed as a major community need? I'm just curious if that's something that other people perceive as a problem.
Does anyone want to talk on that?
I think the spay and neuter program is important. Sheltering these cats that came from the fire, I think, is mostly important to Kimberly and some kind people, kind animal lovers, but it's not reducing the feral population.
Any other additional thoughts? Okay, I think, since there were some pretty good questions, what I'd like to do is probably have Kimberly, Mary, one or the other, or both, be able to join us, and then they can answer some of these questions more about the need, and you can kind of hear it straight from them. Does that sound good? And we'll table this for our next meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I'd just be interested. I'm sure that they're going to advocate strongly for this, and I'm more interested in how this is viewed by the community as a significant problem. Most of the things that we've considered have pretty broad effect on the community as a whole. And this, I mean, I don't live there, so I don't want to be the judge, but this seems less significant as a whole to me. So I have more concerns about it.
Yeah, I mean, community reach is definitely an understanding or definitely a factor. So I'll find out some more, Lida, and try to provide that, and then also just have the team from Greenville Firecats available as well.
Right, and kind of piggyback on what Lyda is saying too, is that can this actually be rolled into a broader Plumas County organization that could do the same work, or the animal control? Do we still have that or not?
Yeah, we definitely do. It's a division underneath the sheriff's office.
Friends and PAWS both work on a county-wide level and work with animal control, address the board of supervisors for funding and stuff. I know that they trap in Greenville and in all of Indian Valley. Sometimes places where Kimberly doesn't. Kimberly's been reliant on them for traps. So this is just in terms of the spay and neuter problem. That's, like you said, that's a county-wide effort. And also in terms of rehoming, both Friends and PAWS have facilities where they have adoption processes going on. Big teams of volunteers. They're open 7 days a week. Go through cats, adoptees go through screening processes and stuff. So they're pretty rigorous about that.
So is it your sense that those things that you just referred to are should meet the community need, or is it not true? I mean, I'm not asking.
I think that dealing with the feral problem is a community need.
Okay, but is there more need than is already being met?
I think. Well, I mean, Friends came and asked for $2,000 to help support the trap and spay and neuter program.
Mm-hmm.
Here for one go around, I guess. I mean, they're bringing in vets from all over, the state, and they're feeding them, and they're doing all sorts of stuff.
Great, yeah.
My understanding and so they're asking for $2,000. And what it sounds like, Kimberly wants a nice place for kitties to live.
Right.
I don't see that as a big issue that's going to benefit the community. I see trapping and neutering ferals who breed like crazy as a bigger issue. If we're going to,
Yeah. I mean, there are two different things in my mind for sure.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So in
And-
their last grant, we'll only have $15,500 left if we're doing in the $12,500 towards them. We have to think about how much money we have left.
Yeah, I mean, with the decrease or the reduction in what's available funding wise, it is definitely a consideration to think about. Um, so, uh, with everything that's been discussed thus far, uh, what I recommend is that we table this for now. We get some more information and then move out from there when both there's a better understanding of funding available and then also the need for this particular project.
Right. And to kind of follow up on that, Patrick, I'd like to definitely see representatives here. Otherwise, there's no sense of even discussing it any further if there's no representation from the grant people who want the grant.
Yeah, no problem. And that I'll take the hit on that because I didn't highlight the importance of that with Kimberly when we spoke the other day. We were trying to they had two different grants going and with two different profiles, and I was trying to untangle that a little bit. And so that's but I'll take responsibility for that one. Okay, so we'll move on to coordinator update. There are two things I wanted to just kind of spend the bulk of time talking about just to use our time wisely today. Um, one of which is
Workout, Jim.
yep, I'm gonna get to that one. But right now, let me share my screen. So this is a draft survey, I'll send it out to everybody just so you can really read it and kind of look at the questions. You got to understand that some of the questions or ideas that I put on here, they are exactly that. They're just ideas of how I wanted to make this survey. And I was thinking about developing sort of three different data pools for this. So one would be direct to community organizations. So disseminate it there and then get the feedback from that. Another would be to our email list service. So distribution via email to those that have ever signed up for Dixie Fire information. And then the third would be just a link overall out to the masses, like on Facebook or something, to get widest dissemination as possible and widest feedback. But right now, I'm just curious about what other insights or information do we want to garner? There's a balance of asking too many questions. Nobody wants to take their SATs again. At least I don't. Maybe I'll speak for myself there, but then also we need to have enough information to garner effective feedback, right? So there's kind of a balance. Some of these questions I wrote that they sound sort of similar, redundant, and it's really just to kind of have them there to if one sounds better than the other, take the one that doesn't sound all that great out, or mix them or whatever. So what I'm going to do is just do after this meeting. I'll send it out just to the team here, the steering committee and whatnot for feedback. And try to put a suspense of maybe like Friday, so I can get that back. But that'll help talk about existence and then future transition options and really just kind of figure out what folks would like to what direction the folks would like to go in. So that's one item. That's the survey there on the agenda.
Is that the idea to send it out to people beyond this committee?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So it'd be kind of like three different bins that I'm thinking about. Like one would be to try to get as many like groups and organizations, like their officers, presidents, vice presidents, whatever, treasurers, whomever, to kind of look at it from an organizational perspective of what they feel is necessary with the existence or not of a community organization like the DFC as it relates to both fire recovery, or if it transitions into something that's more community focused overall and not just fire recovery. The other one would be to send it to anybody that has taking the informal agreement that if you signed up for emails and information at one point, then you might be mildly interested in what happens next. So kind of use that as bin 2. And then bin 3 would be, Facebook and whatever else, just to hear general thoughts, and see if there's some good ideas that come out from, what people want to take, what they want to leave, what they could, do without, and just see if there's any sort of trends that emerge from that. There's a lot, once we get the feedback, there's a lot that can be done in terms of data analysis, just using the simple tools in the spreadsheets, but then some other data analysis tools to kind of really, have a better than a guess on what direction to go. Did that answer your question, Lana?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
Any other questions?
How many questions are there on there?
I think I put 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7. But again, some of them kind of merge, or like ones can kind of go with the other, because some of them are, check all that apply. A couple are multiple choice, have some short answer in there. If people just, sometimes people just skip to that. When I answer the questions, they just like, hey, let me tell you what I think. And then they'll write, a couple sentences, which is fine. We can, it all works. So anyway, I'll be sending that out to all of you. All right, so this is kind of hot off the press too. Am I sharing the right screen? Let me see what I'm sharing here. Yeah. I wanted to share this. So I met, and Danny, this wanted to have a prior conversation with you, but I just really kind of figured this out today with Kim.
Right. Yeah, just to let you know, I kind of had a little bit of heads up because something changed last week or a couple weeks back, and I touched with Kim and I saw that potential float back.
Okay,
So
perfect. All right. So this is all this is relatively new. So in the last week or so. So the Almanor Foundation, so I'm going to direct your attention up to the top right. So Exhibit A, scope of work and timelines. Last year, you heard the steering committee heard a lot of information from the Almanor Foundation. There was a series of meetings when Tyler Pugh and team came and talked about the different sort of areas that they wanted to use grant funding for housing up to $600,000, and there were 3 different areas, right? And Greg, last meeting, you asked about the lease to locals program, and the constant drumbeat from the Housing Council has been that that there hadn't been any movement on that, and that Placemate, not the company, yeah, I guess the company that they were working with was trying to figure out a way to figure out how lease to locals was going to work here at Plumas County, because they focus in other resort areas around the country, but they were trying to figure out how it was going to work, mostly in Gray Eagle and the Lake Almanor area, because that's where they had the preponderance of second homes. And then there was the TRIO program, which has been marketed, but some of that marketing has also just gone to the general Greenville, Welcome Home Greenville, and other housing marketing around the Plumas Housing Council, etc. So all told, it was roughly $600,000. Now, if you look at this top right corner, these different grant payments, there was the first grant payment, then the second grant payment, and then the third grant payment. Really, the only money that was ever let was, I think, this $9,000 and part of this admin fee. So it was roughly $15,000 that was ever released. That means that we still have roughly $585,000 that has not been released to the Almanor Foundation. The other caveat to that grant agreement was that these funds, over here on the bottom left, I put 12, 25, 25. The funds were to be used at that point, and if they weren't used, it wasn't that they just got immediately refunded back into our account. They've been sitting there as a voucher, is my understanding, but that there need to be a discussion hey, what's going on? Are these programs still happening? Are they not? What's up? If you recall the big one, the 445,000 that is identified as the RA project, That was to offset the cost of a building project that may come in with private dollars from like Sierra Pacific Industries being the number one investor, and then some of these other interested housing entities, other groups that are represented by the Housing Council, like the hospitals, FRC, like the Plumas Realtors Association, etc. So anyway, none of that looks like it's going to happen. Okay. Meaning that the investment never came from SPI. And then without SPI, it makes it difficult for these other foundations, like the hospital foundation and whatever, to think about investing or donating to the housing project. So I'm going to call a quick time out there in a second. But so from the money that was voted on to and approved to be given to the Almanor Foundation, that money is definitely coming back. Now, I put the DFC will receive approximately $584,100. It still need from the Almanor Foundation to confirm that the admin fee that they that's money that they've been using over the last year to monitor this program, that they've used that. But theoretically, we're looking at plus or minus $15,000 that maybe they've spent, which is fine. And then we'll get the bulk of that $600,000 back. All right. So that's one component of this. It's a lot. Everybody with me so far?
Yep.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, so who, if anybody, is still going to build housing in Plumas County? All right. So once it was clear that SPI wasn't going to invest in this at all, Tracy Ferguson, who's our planning director and has been the de facto long-term recovery coordinator, but she has kind of ceded those duties over to their new long-term recovery coordinator, Kaylee Ward, who I met with last week. Very nice, very experienced and working with local and state governments. Anyway, so she's working on some of these pieces now. But so Tracy is still administering what the grant. She wrote the grant in 2022 and received the Community Development Block Grant, Disaster Recovery Grant 2022. It was funding for Plumas County for housing specifically. If you recall, that was going to be the up to $500,000 per house for single family reconstruction. So that was working with the organization Recover California, which was the contracted entity underneath Housing Community Development, to try to get fire survivors signed up for single family reconstruction. That program, for a lot of reasons, didn't really work out. I think it sounds like there's going to be like 8 homes built through that program as opposed to 20 that were planned for. So HCD came back, and it's money that the county still had, right? So HCD, Housing Community Development, which is our housing and urban development counterpart at the state level, came back and started working with Tracy and Plumas County on what to do with the remaining funds. The remaining funds were identified, I think, around $11 million that could be spent on housing and other community development projects, most of it being housing. So Tracy amended the grant with HCD, and $8.75 million will be going to housing. The other component of that, there was like $1 million that's going to be used for studies, economic and housing study. And then there's like 2 and change that's being used for roads, like roads and sidewalks. So that's going to our Plumas County Public Roads Department. So that $8.75 million roughly is still being administered by Plumas County, and Plumas County is working with Plumas Rural Services. So Plumas Rural Services is going to move forward with working with as I mentioned in the last slide, the RRA project. So that's still the same project. It's still the same people. So Kelly Konzelman and Hector Vizcarra, they've worked. They were the ones, I don't know if you all recall, but they had developed a program of housing down in Paradise, where they use the Butte County down payment assistance programs to help. They buy the land, they buy the house, they put it on it, and then sell it back to the homeowner that once potentially lived there. So they are working with Plymouth Rural Services to develop 19 sites, predominantly in Greenville, with maybe a handful. And I don't have the exact numbers because I think they're still working on it. But 3 to 4 is one number that I heard in Chester, but then the rest would be in Greenville to then build like a primary dwelling and then that like a duplex, right? A primary that has like 2 units in it, 2 rental units. So all in, they believe that that project's going to cost about $11.5 million. Plymouth Rural Services is so $8.75 million being paid for by the grant. That leaves a funding gap of roughly $3 million to make to finish the completion of the project. Now, PRS is they've said that they're prepared to go after a loan, a $3 million loan to do this build completely. What they're looking at doing is a donor campaign to reduce the need for financing. So all those entities that I mentioned before, and we kind of led the effort last year, the Dixie Fire Collaborative, with attributing $445,000 to that project in the first place, housing. But they're going to initiate a donor campaign to work with SPI, the hospitals, FRC, I think the Forest Service, and I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple others, to try to buy down that funding gap as much as possible to reduce the amount that they would have to take a loan out for. So what we can anticipate is when this money comes back from the Almar Foundation, which it never technically left, it was just still in our account with some guardrails around it, much in the way that like the Greenville Rancheria money is. What we can anticipate is that PRS will submit a grant request for a significant amount of money. I would expect hundreds of thousands of dollars. I don't know if it's going to be the exact amount that that the Almar Foundation's sending back to us, but it's going to be a significant ask. So heads up on that. Now, at one time, again, a year ago, the steering committee felt strongly about housing and being able to kind of help out with that. I suspect that some of that's still the case. I don't know if everybody's still thinking that that amount of money is what you want to contribute to this, or at all, or any at all. That'll still need to be determined, and we still need a grant request, and there's still a lot of details to work out. But that's it in a nutshell, and this has kind of taken shape over the last week or two. So clear as mud again, but just wanted to give you at least enough of the details as I know them, with more coming as it kind of develops. Greg, you have your hand up?
Yeah. Do we know the reasons that Sierra Pacific turned down the opportunity, in the past? Why do we have the understanding of why these master tenants didn't show up?
Yeah. So my understanding is that Sierra SPI already owns a significant amount of land in Quincy, and they do want to contribute to workforce housing, but they want to use their own land that they have in Quincy. I think that from what I understand, they own like several acres behind Safeway somewhere, and they want to at some point develop that so that it's just closer to the mill. So
Right.
that
Yeah,
was the
they want the workers close to the mill. Yeah, that's what I heard. I know
so
the property that they're talking about.
that was the primary reason,
All right.
is my understanding.
So then how likely are they to donate to this housing project to Plymouth Rural Services if what they want is worker housing near the mill?
I have no idea. I have no idea. And so again, like this, we talked a little bit about this a couple weeks ago, I think, but with or without any sort of funding from the Dixie Fire Collaborative, Plymouth Rural Services is still going to do this, right? They're still committed to. I mean, their board has approved the idea of going after the loan. They're just trying to make it sting less, right? So, we, like I said, this is maybe premature in understanding really what the details are because we don't have a grant request. We don't know what's in it. We don't know a lot of things other than kind of the wave tops as this thing has been iterated upon over the last several months. When, one door closes, then, people try to find another one that opens up. But, Paula Johnson, who was once on the steering committee and, talking with her of understanding the need for housing, specifically in Greenville. It's something that they want to commit to. I don't know how this will work. This could show up in their grant. The other thing that they're working on developing, but this would take time, is the Plumas County Community Development Commission, right? So that's the organization that the DFC a number of months ago contributed $25,000 to for the down payment assistance program research with RCAC. Because like that, the Development Commission, what they primarily work on is Section 8 housing or low income housing. And they frankly didn't have necessarily the bandwidth to think about like a median income housing, like workforce housing, as it's sometimes called. So, hopefully this is something that develops where you have two entities working in partnership with one another to answer some of the housing needs, particularly for those that are, demographically probably in their 20s and 30s. They may have a family of 3 or 4 looking to rent, and hopefully with the expectation that over time they can buy as well. Yes, Danny, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I have a question on what's the status of the homes that were rebuilt? There's a couple new homes rebuilt and out for rent. Have they been rented, or people standing in line to rent houses? I hear that quote unquote need, but I think there's more than 1 or 2 houses out there available for rent that are new that aren't being rented.
To be honest, I have no idea. I know that Dan was just talking about his house on 89, that's available for rent at $1,500 a month.
What about the one on down on Hot Springs Road that was just recently put together? Has that been rented? Cass?
Yes, Sherry. I think it's still for sale. Is it still on the
Well,
market?
It's in escrow.
okay, good,
It's for sale.
good.
Mhm. Yeah.
So-
As of yesterday.
That's great. It's good news.
Congratulations.
Good. Like to hear that progress. Good.
But that's kind of it in a nutshell. There's a lot of moving parts. So that's why I thought I'm going to keep these slides going. Like I'm going to keep adding to them, and then that way I'll kind of have like a destination for this information so that it can hopefully be communicated effectively, because there's a lot of arrows moving this way and that way, and a lot to track on. So I just wanted to share that with you all so you can at least start to think about it and what those impacts might be. Okay. I'm going to share my screen again, and we'll move into committee member updates. I saw Marcia the other day in the store, and I was talking a little bit about. So here's some pictures from both the gym, the fitness center, and then this is just one that was on the Facebook page of the maker space, the kind of the Lego area. Hopefully, are you guys seeing that? Everybody seeing that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wanted to here, let me see if I can switch tabs here. So I started using the gym, and come on, there we go. If for anybody interested, I'll kind of walk you through this. It worked out real well. So if you go to the IVRPD's website right here, ivrpd.org, and you go to Fitness Center under Facilities, and then there's this banner right here. So here's the pricing. Indian Valley resident is $25, non-resident $35. You can go month to month, 6 month, a year, and then they're working on a day pass option for like $10 a day. But if you click here, and then is it right here? No, it's then go to pricing. So this is what I did is you can monthly Indian Valley resident trial. I think I'm still sharing this, right? Yeah. Okay. So if you select this one, the $20 that you're paying out is just the sign up fee, and that's where you pay for like your little key fob thing, and that gives you access because the doors are locked all the time. So it's just a kind of key entry type thing. And then you can try it out for a month. at no cost. And then when that month is over, then you have a little account, and then you can go on and determine if you want to do like month to month, or uh, the 6 month rate, or the year, which is down here. Um, but then you just do a just kind of like a 10 or 15 minute orientation to go over the rules and some of the equipment procedures, and then you get the key fob. And so it's open from 5 in the morning, I think 5 in the morning to 8 in the morning, Monday through Friday, and then 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then it's open from 5 to 11 Saturday and Sunday, 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Saturday and Sunday for access. So it works out pretty well. So far, so good. I was trying to see if my keys were here. I was going to show you the little thing. But yeah, here it is. So it's just like a little tag like that. And you just wave it and on just like a hotel room door, the little thing, and then you get access. And there's plenty of equipment in there. And yeah, it's a good start. So again, that was $72,000 contributed from this organization to support that gym and then the makerspace. Some of the classes at the makerspace have gotten underway. I know that there's been, I think, two kids like after school Lego program, like Lego build, Lego robotic things. Um, and then there's I think somebody's doing quilting. Don't quote me on that, but I think someone's doing quilting. So anyway, those pieces are off and running. All right. So committee member updates. Lida, do you have anything that you'd like to share with the team?
Just what I said earlier, I think that the MSC project is finished. They did have some rain issues because 4 of the days they were supposed to be up there working, there was just too much rain for them to be able to burn. And as Sherry and Kest and Patrick all saw when they were up there, it ain't easy to get stuff to burn in the rain. So I am assuming, but I haven't heard definitively that they're finished. But what I have heard is that people whose property was taken care of were very happy with what happened, and it's been a big, big boon to the valley. And I think other people may be interested in doing the same process at some point down the line.
Yeah, is it Tabor?
Tabor teacher. No, Tabor. Anyway, Tabor is his first name, and Ken Shearer.
Yeah, so that was one of those things, like kind of on my list to follow up with them to see if they would kind of do a walkthrough around like Indian Valley proper, Indian Falls, et cetera, to kind of see what they would recommend in the way of utilization. So
Yeah.
more to follow on that one.
Yeah, I mean they were just excited to be able to get into Plumas County because they hadn't done any projects in Plumas County. So
Yeah,
so they'd be
maybe this
happy
could
to look
be
at
could be the start of something.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Lida. Let's see, Danny, do you have anything for the team?
No, nothing additional. We haven't had any expenses, so and well, other than I haven't got the interest so for the month yet. So no real big changes there. So we're good.
Okay, thank you. Marcia, anything for the team?
No, except I just wanted to say that I'm excited about the opportunity to have more money to put towards housing, because I think all of us were really dedicated to getting more housing. So I'm hoping that something comes of that.
All right, yeah, thank you, Marcia. Matt.
Everything's going well in Crescent Mills. Just one event I want to say. Christmas in Crescent is on December the 6th. It's a Saturday, and we're going to be lighting the Christmas tree, and there's going to be a Christmas market and carol singing, etc. So please come to Crescent Mills on Saturday, December 6th.
Got a nice ring to it. Christmas and Crescent.
Oh.
And on the Feast of St. Nicholas, no doubt.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, December
Yeah.
6th. Yeah.
There you go. St.
There you
Nick.
go. Go to jolly old St. Nick.
It sounds like that's what Christmas should be, right? I thought it would be. Well, no, it's Jesus' birthday, sorry.
I think he's got the trump card.
There you
All right. Greg, anything for the team?
No, I think I just want to say that we gave some money to the Legion for soundproofing, I believe, and it really made the hall much nicer.
I
Yeah.
don't, yeah, I don't think we did that because they
Oh,
never,
really? They just came up with it on their own?
they didn't follow up with, yeah, but that's
Oh.
okay if it worked out.
Yeah, what they did was it's definitely nicer. And so just that, I mean, it made Veterans Day a lot more pleasant in there for a big meal. And then there's a Thanksgiving meal that's on the 28th that the way station isn't doing it, so just some people are putting it together. Becca from the way station, from the way baby, and Karen Morcombe are putting together a Thanksgiving meal. So on the 28th.
That's great.
So.
That's
Quick
great. So
question.
that's Friday the 28th. Do you have a time? Greg?
Yeah, hold on a second. I think it's pretty early. Hold on just a second. Yeah, it's 5 to 6:30, I think.
Okay.
No. It's 12 to 2.
Okay. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Got it. Okay.
And actually, so Thanksgiving in Greenville, and that's November 27th. All
Oh,
right.
so it's on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, I guess so. I
Okay.
thought that it was the next day, but okay.
12 p.m. to 2 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day, the 27th.
Yeah, so they're looking for food donations, and somebody if people want to help serve.
Great.
So
All right. Sounds like fun.
okay.
All right. And thank you, Greg. And then Shelby, last but not least.
No updates this time.
Great. Well, thank you. And actually, speaking of other events, let's see if it's up here. Yeah, here it is. I'll share this. Let me share my screen again. We've got on Thanksgiving Day, we will be hosting the 10th annual Indian Valley Turkey Trot. So this year we were able to link up with IVRPD to help sponsor the event, but you can see the information there. So 8 o'clock at the spot is where we start. We try to if people want to bring something like kind of potluck brunch type of thing, I'll have all the coffee and hot water for hot chocolate and stuff like that. We'll have water, and then I'll have like muffins and stuff there. This is our 10th annual, so we got t-shirts made by Alyssa Dobson. I can't remember the name of her screen printing company. Matt, you might know it because I think she works over there in Crescent Mills. But anyway,
Crafted.
What was it again?
Crafted.
Plymouth Crafted. Okay, so we got the t-shirts coming from Plymouth Crafted this year, and then we also have our finishers medals. There's another local maker here, and she makes different things off of like a laser CNC machine that she has at her home. So she's making our finishers medals this year that will double also as Christmas ornaments. So come on out at 08 on Thursday the 27th for a 3-mile-ish. We say it's 3 mile. We just can't get that extra tenth of a mile in there without making the route more confusing than it already is. But that's all right. Walk, run, don't do either. Hang at the start/finish line with me and keep time, whatever you want to do. But we'll be there. So yeah, Marcia, you have another ad.
Our next meeting is on the 1st of December.
It would be the first, yeah.
Yeah.
If we schedule, yeah.
Okay, and then I just remembered we are having the courthouse sing in Quincy is at 2 o'clock on Sunday the 7th. And that is always a really fun Christmas thing. They do Christmas caroling. I'll be playing the piano. And then on the 14th, Randy Hovland and his daughter Kelly put together a big, long flatbed truck, and they build in places to sit. And we meet at the spot at 5 o'clock, and we go caroling throughout the town of Greenville.
Oh, cool.
So people are welcome to come to that too.
So which day?
That is going to be the 14th. It's a Sunday at 5 o'clock.
All right. Lots of fun and exciting events coming up. So thank you for that, Marcia. And with that, it is 4:17. May I have a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
I move to adjourn today's meeting.
Thank you, Lana. And a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Danny. And all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed?
Shoot 'em.
Oh, I do have one thing. Clint Cobley called today. It looks like they're going to get $20,000 for the move-in relocation grant from Sierra Pacific Industries. So he's meeting with them again tomorrow to finalize the details. Just FYI. Again, as we know more about our funding, and those grants are already with us. So once we kind of know more about what funds we have available, we could put those back on the agenda for consideration with if we have more available funding. So, but yeah, he called this afternoon and said they met last week and they did the tour, and then SPI is committing $20,000 to the move-in relocation grant.
Great.
Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
And with that, the meeting's adjourned. All right. Thank you all very much.
Thanks.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thanks,
Take care.
Patrick.
Have
Bye,
a
guys.
good day. Bye-bye.
Happy birthday, Patrick.
Yes.
Bye.
Happy birthday, Dan. I forgot to text you.
Happy birthday, Patrick.
Happy birthday, everybody.
Marine Corps birthday,
Yeah. Important.
November 10th. All right. See you all later.